This week, we are introducing you to the candidates running in District 27. Today, 25 News Now, Don Brubaker has Congressman Michael Cloud. Don.
Karina, thank you and welcome back.
Well, thank you. Good to be here.
How is this campaign different from previous ones for you? Because you won first time 6 years ago.
Sure.
And now you're running for re-election once again, and you're hopscotching back and forth from Washington, D.C. at the same time.
Yeah. Well, you know, we come from this community, and I think I think back to that first campaign. There's nothing like your first campaign, but I'm always grateful because I feel like our community, they saw my heart for the country. They knew what I wanted to accomplish. I think they believed that I would do my best to give my best effort to stand for them. And so they elected me kind of out of that intent of what we hope we can accomplish. At this point, we have a record, fighting the important fights, standing strong on principle, pushing back against some of the bad stuff that's happening, and standing strong on the fiscal stuff that needs to happen, working to secure our border and all these different kind of things. So we have a proven track record at this point, and so it's still always fun to interact. We still work for the people. Still always needing their input, but it's certainly nice to have a record to run on.
Securing the border, how disappointing was it to you that this big package that the Senate had approved with border security, as you said on your Facebook page, you had to get to at least page 3 to get to the border security part of it?
Yeah, exactly. The quote border security package coming from the Senate was an absolute atrocity. I mean, basically codifying much of the practices we see going on now into the next presidency. So allowing 5,000, putting limits that instead of cutting back on the migration, saying, oh, we're going to allow all this stuff to happen that's happening now. It was not a border security bill. If anything, it was an open border security bill. And again, the biggest priorities in it were Ukraine. And it's sad to see that, in the House, we've impeached Mayorkas, thankfully, but the Senate, when they realized how bad the border section of it was, it didn't even get out of the Senate. And so instead of fixing it, they just cut the U.S. border security out of it and sent us the bill in the House. And this is not what Americans want. We've got to secure our borders.
Mm-hmm. Inflation is a problem for so many people as they try and buy anything these days.
Yeah.
What can Congress do to lower the national debt, which right now is about $34 trillion?
Exactly. I'm one of the most fiscally conservative members of Congress because of this. It's a national security crisis. Our rampant spending sends inflation up. I was talking to a gentleman last night, Social Security, he and his wife, you're on a fixed income, and when inflation hits, that's like taking a pay cut, and they're doing everything they can to make ends meet. What we've got to do is we've got to stop the frivolous spending, cut back on waste, fraud, and abuse. I'm working on that in both the Appropriations Committee and the Oversight Committee. I've also introduced legislation like the Sunset Commission, where every agency would have to come before a Sunset Commission, and we would evaluate every single agency for, are they meeting their goals? Are they meeting objectives? Does this agency need to even exist anymore? And begin to evaluate that and shrink the size of government and get government back to doing its core functions of government.
How essential are those evaluations?
Well, if we could get the Sunset Commission bill passed, it would be great. We've had a Senate co-sponsor. We've been working to get it passed. With where we are in the fiscal cliff, we're having more interest than we've seen before with what's going on. We're getting more people understanding the point we are in Congress, but we need more reinforcements, more people of courage who are willing to make the tough choices we need to see happen in Congress.
All right. Congressman Cloud, thanks so much for all your time. We appreciate it.
Sure, thank you.
All right, Karina, back to you.
Don, thank you. Here are the other Republican candidates on the ballot in District 27, Chris Mapp, Scott Mandel, and Luis Espindola. Luis will join us live in studio this Thursday on 25 News Now at 5. The winner here will face the Democrat who wins the primary election on March 5th. And early voting in the primary election continues through March 1st. You can vote from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. all days except Sunday, February 25th, when the polls open at 9 a.m. and close at 3 p.m. You can, of course, vote at the Dr. Patty Dotson Public Health Center, 2805 North Navarro, Classroom A.